Magic Tree House, a Merlin mission, Seasons of the Sandstorms. Chapter 4, Ship of the Desert. The camel raiders all silently watched the sunset over the faraway dunes as the fiery ball slipped beneath the horizon. The desert was flooded with red light. As soon as the sun disappeared, the air grew much cooler. Mamoon stood up. "It's time to go," he said. The camel riders put out their small fire in the growing darkness. Mamoon helped them saddle up their animals and load them with their baggage. Then Mamoon came over to Jack and Annie. "You can ride those two sisters," he said, pointing. Two camels kneeling in the sand. "Climb on, then come to the front of the line to ride with me." Jack and Annie walked over to the two camels. Sisters each had reins hanging from her neck. Saddles made from colorful cushions were piled high on their humps. Annie patted the wiry, tan-colored fur of one of the animals. The camel looked at Annie with big eyes and fluttered their thick eyelashes. "Hey, cutie," said Annie. The other camel nuzzled Annie's neck. "Hey, beauty," Annie said to the other. "You want some attention too?" "Cutie and beauty," said Jack. He didn't find either camel particularly cute or beautiful. Annie climbed into Cutie's saddle cushion and picked up the reins. "Let's ride," she said. Cutie rose awkwardly up from the kneeling position to a full stand. "Oh, wow," said Annie, towering over Jack. "She's really tall." Jack started to climb on Beauty, but the camel caught an end of his head cloth and began chewing it. "Stop that," said Jack, pulling the cloth away from her. Beauty opened her mouth wide and flashed rows of sharp teeth. Jack drew back. "Don't be afraid," said Annie. "Easy for you to say," said Jack. "Yours likes you." "Don't worry, Beauty likes you too," said Annie. "I can tell." Annie's camel began ambling toward the other camels, waiting to head off into the desert. "Come on, Jack. It's really fun once you are moving," she called. "Fun?" muttered Jack. "Right." He held on to the ends of his head cloth and put his leg over Beauty's arm. The camel eyed him suspiciously. She swished her tail, slapping his back. "Hey," said Jack. Jack tried to get comfortable on the saddle cushion, but Beauty spat at him and made a weird screeching sound. "Quiet," said Jack. He hooked his shoulder bag into a saddle horn. When he was finally settled, Beauty turned her head and started chewing on his leather bag. "No, don't!" yelled Jack. He tried pulling the bag away, but Beauty played tug of war. "Come on, let's go," said Jack. "Give it back, stupid." "Do you really think she is stupid?" Jack jumped. Mamoon had read up behind him and was watching as he tried to get his bag back from Beauty. Jack was embarrassed. She won't let go on my stuff, she said. Mamoon grabbed a strap of Jack's bag. He clucked his tongue and the camel let it go. She groaned as Mamoon hooked the leather bag back onto the saddle horn. For thousands of years, camels like this one have carried people across the desert, said Mamoon. She is truly a miracle of nature. Some miracle? Thought Jack. She can drink 2 barrels of water in 10 minutes, said Mamoon, and then go for a week without drinking again. She can live many days without food too. Really? Said Jack. She is well suited to travel in the desert, said Mamoon. Her thick eyebrows protect her eyes from the glare of the sun. Her long eyelashes and the fur around her ears keep out the wind-blown sand. Cool, said Jack softly. Her feet are so tough they do not feel the heat of the sun, said Mammon. And they are so big that they keep her from sinking down into the loose sand. Said Jack. She can carry 500 pounds of baggage on her back, said Mamoon, and travel 100 miles in a single day. That's a lot, murmured Jack. Mamoon tugged on the camel reins and clucked his tongue. Beauty breathed heavily as she rose up on her long, powerful legs to her full height. Mamoon looked at Jack. We must respect her and honor her, he said. In many ways she is superior to us. No, Jack nodded. He thought of the words of Merlin's letter. To succeed in your mission, you must be humble. He patted the camel. Good girl, Beauty. Mamoon clung his tongue again to the coax. The camel forward, perched high on his saddle. Jack rocked from side to side. He did not feel at all safe, but he stayed calm. Beauty ambled over to Cutie. The two sisters who stood together and snorted. The desert sky was bright with stars. Mamoon called to his men, and caravan started to move forward. The camels walked with swaying motion. They moved 2 big feet on one side, then 2 big feet on other. Jack gripped the horn of his saddle as his ship of the desert rocked from left to right. Isn't this fun? Said Annie, rocking alongside him. Sort of, said Jack, shivering. Actually, he wasn't having any fun at all. He felt seasick and was freezing in the night air. Also, he was worried about their mission. Would Caliph meet with them? If he did, how could they help him spread his wisdom to world? And if Baghdad was very far, how would they ever find their way back to the tree house? Mammal slowed his camel until he was riding between Jack and Annie. When I was a boy, I spent many cold nights in the desert riding with my father on the journeys to the west, he said. At first, I too thought camels were foolish. I always longed for more blankets and for a smoother ride. I wished to be back in Baghdad in my own warm bed. Jack smiled. He liked the caravan leader. But over time, I have come to love the cold desert nights, said Mamu. Now, when I am sleeping in my warm bed in Baghdad, I long to be here instead. I wish to reading the wind and stars. How do you read stars? Asked Annie. They have their own language, said Mammon. At this moment, we are heading eastward to Goat Star. He pointed at the sky. Jack couldn't tell which star was Goat Star, but he was filled with wonder. Thousands of tiny lights twinkled in the black dome of night. There were more stars than Jack had ever imagined. Some of them looked close enough to touch. Mamoon started singing a song. The other camel riders joined in. Jack couldn't understand the words, but the tune was soothing. The camels seemed to sway to the music. Jack stopped worrying about how they would get back to the treehouse, and he found he was actually enjoying the fresh desert air. He started to relax. Jack, Annie said softly, guess what we just solved is the first mystery in the Merlin's letter. Ride a ship of the desert on a cold, starry night. Yeah, said Jack happily, and it's really fun. Suddenly, a fierce shout came from the distance. Jack sat up straighter. His heart thumped. Bandits! One of the camel drivers shouted. Wait till the next part. Bye bye.